I got a lot of problems, and to be ready to share them. It's either no resolution.
So, what I want to do is let's just get like an introduction. Like, I think we need like an elaborate introduction on who you are, what you do. You know, give me the rundown. Give me a rundown.
Okay. Do you want to like format it like, hey, I'm Swayze, or do you just want naturally?
Do you?
Okay. Well, I am Score F Swayze and the F for Finago. I am an artist within Finago Park. We have been making music for quite some time right now. Next will be year 12. I am a rapper, producer, artist, songwriter, event coordinator, content curator, show producer, show host, graphic designer, avid wrestling fan, son, and not a father.
Okay. All right. So I see the visual and the music. Why did you think it was okay, or not think it's okay, but why did you want to go ahead and like pair those two as like your niche for real?
Well, to be honest, I feel like we're in the space right now in terms of artistry and in music, whereas though the last thing you need to worry about is what the music sounds like. You have to worry about what music looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So focusing on vision, like I even put it in my like Gmail like years ago, I think it was 2018, 2017, whereas though I had one folder set for just visual. And that was my focus for like since then. And focusing on like how things look, how things are promoted, how things are marketed, how things are like pretty much put towards the demographic and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt as though since we're in the era where as though rappers are becoming more than rappers and the last thing you need to do is be a rapper, you pretty much just have to find a niche.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Swayze TV has become like pretty much its own thing. Whereas though like when I first started, I just made a video because I was just depressed as shit one day, and I just like fuck it, let's just make some content. And I realized like, whoa, this has some potential here, and I felt as though we could really just run with it. So after that video, I made an AMV with like an anime in it with my song in the background, and that pretty much became like the format for Swayze TV, whereas though it's everything that you're going to be seeing from my mind, but my music is going to be the background noise.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking on Swayze TV, what made you give it this vintage feel? Because like when I see it, it got like, you know, those stretch lines, you know, give that VCR feel, but it's also specific graphics that encompass like wrestling and Dragon Ball Z. In that time period that they both were like combined things. Like you wake up in the morning, you hit the Dragon Ball Z, and at night, like you deaf about to get wrestling, and then you just like that's gonna set your day off. Like that's gonna be great. So what made you combine all those elements?
Well, I feel like for a while, especially when it comes to my music and what I used to rap about, or trying to not rap about anymore, is that gaudy lifestyle of what people think what a rapper should be, and what you really should expect from rappers and rap music in general. And I felt as though Swayze TV was just my vision. My first name, if you can probably see it, is Talib, and I call it Talib Vision instead of television. So whereas though you'll get like that eye, whereas though like you're seeing everything I used to see growing up. You see the fucking VCR, you see the bootleg cable, you see like the red the box with the red numbers in it, and like all that stuff. So I want to make it as visually accurate to what I see to the artist, and I feel as though that's like somewhat of a double-edged sword, because like everything you see right now is very shiny, it's very HD, it's very like in your face and just like visually like captivating, whereas though my stuff is super old school, and not to be retro on purpose, it's just a matter of storytelling.
Okay. So with Swayze TV, when you do these interviews and you do like these appearances on other shows, you have this personality, I would say. I don't know if it is like an ego for you or anything like that, but how much does that personality resemble you in like real life?
I mean, honestly, I really just try to be as me as possible when it comes to just being on like when I did Inside the Rapper Studio for those like first 100 episodes, it was just like me just taking a swing at it every fucking time. Like pretty I don't know if can I curse on here?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, thank you. So basically for those first 100 episodes, it was just me kind of like taking a swing at everything from content to journalism to just straight up like being within the community that we're in for like musicians in Baltimore. And I feel as though like the best thing I could do was just not put on some like show, ironically enough, but more so like kind of just have a legit conversation with people through like Instagram, television, or IGTV, and just try to make sure that like two things are happening. One, there's no type of embarrassment for the artist, whether it's me or the artist that I'm interviewing. And two, there's legit conversation and growth from these from the dialogue. Like the inspiration from Inside the Rapper Studio came from James Lipton's show Inside the Actor Studio. So, and it's a tidbit that nobody's getting until now, which I find hilarious. Basically, for every flyer that I did for Inside the Rapper Studio, James Lipton is in the background. He just like staticked out because, well, on his show, basically he would bring on actors and they would talk about being in Hollywood, being an actor, what it takes to be an actor, all the hard work you have to put into. And he's having that conversation in front of Pace University, the university that James Lipton taught for like acting and like theatrics and stuff like that. So I wanted to do the same type of thing and same type of dialogue and same type of tone for rap. So instead of having him doing Inside the Actor Studio, you're having me doing Inside the Rapper Studio.
Okay. So along with this, I would say TV personality, you have a fit. Everybody got to have their own fit. You know what I'm saying? They gotta have that feel. When you see me, you gonna know what you about to get. Why just the robe?
I don't know if I can tell the story right now. Basically, with the robe, it was just like one day. Like it was actually the first episode of ITRS, like the very first one, not the one where like people started being interviewed and I started talking about my projects and stuff like that. I was rushing to it and I was like not wearing any clothes. And I rushed to like get a robe out of my closet and then we just made it happen. I just kept talking about like, I was acting like the robe just never existed. And everybody just kept commenting on the fucking robe. And I was like, well, I guess we got a gimmick now. Let's just wear robes. And I just started copping up on robes after that.
Okay. How many robes do you think you have now?
I did a giveaway in the middle of in the first season. So minus the giveaway, I think I'm sitting at 8. Just 8.
Okay.
Because you got the zebra, you got the giraffe, you got the green, you got the red, you got the gray, you got the black, you got the pink. And I think, just 7.
Okay. So
7 robes.
You like to keep them like those consistent, like 7 to 10, or like in the future would you like to expand? Like I need a robe for every episode.
At first, it was just me, just kind of just fucking around. I'm gonna be completely honest. There was no like big mastermind plan with these robes. Whereas, this is a big reveal. It's just like, people like robes. Let's play on this robe thing. Let's see how far this robe thing goes. And then like the whole Roby Bryant thing happened. And I'm like, I guess we could stick with that and just like kind of just work it. And after that, I just rotate the roles as the episodes used to go along. But within season 2 of ITRS, which is out now every Sunday night on YouTube, basically there are no robes and there are no me. Okay. It's just the new host, Jordan BDJ Taylor, and he's just wearing brands that's within Baltimore. So it's not necessarily robes you're being promoted, it's the city that's being promoted. So there's like an evolution that goes on throughout the show.
Now, what made you make the switch from you being the host and like having that element of having brands from the city?
Well, it's quite simple. I don't know if you can tell now. Not to say it in any rude sense. I just don't like having conversation. Weirdly
No, that's
enough, you know what I mean? For a person that's like been doing 100 episodes of just like straight up interviews and conversations, I'm in my heart an introvert. Like as you can see here, I'm in my world right now, which is my room, pretty much just like working and things like that, and just having nobody else within that like atmosphere. You know what I mean? So the one thing I would want to do within like my world is create how I want to create. Now, in the perfect world, ITRS would have went on for those 100 episodes. That's it.
Okay.
Move it on along. But being as though the demand for like more interviews and demand for more like exposure towards the city and things like that was like at a fever pitch, it was kind of like detrimental for me to continue this season. So I felt as though the best thing for me to do was one, get a new host that I trusted, which is BDJ. And anybody that's worked with BDJ knows that he is the top of the line interviewer. And on top of that, with bringing in a new host and bringing in a new season, you pretty much have a new chance for a new format. So instead of doing IGTV, we're straight YouTube.
Okay.
And that's why you see like there's new production. There's like an opening. There's an opening card for ITRS, which I've never fucking dreamed of. Like I was just bullshitting around with like the first season, just like, hey, let's just interview people, background noise, haha, applause, and all that stuff, you know. But now that I can actually put some TV shit into this, like, ask anybody around me. The main thing I'm going to be doing all day is just on this laptop, working on how can I make this a show. So this is more opportunity for not only everybody else, but for me to show that I can actually be a show producer.
That's good. What do you think in the rapper studio brings to the rap scene of Baltimore?
It brings a level of conversation, honestly, because like I'm pretty sure you would see it either on Twitter or on IG. There's not a lot of conversation in terms of like how we make music, how we feel when we make music. There's no humanization of the rapper. Quite frankly, we are just tools of entertainment and tools of propaganda, like for whatever case may be. So I felt as though for this to be created, it gives us a chance to not just be like pretty much shucking and jiving on IG Live or anything like that. It's just a chance for us to be human and talk about what makes us human, which is the art that we create. So this is just a chance for us to show that we're more than just rappers.
Okay. Your song Shelf. I'm gonna say it pretty much just like says what I would say every black male, every black person in the community, I would say, is thinking mentally when they have issues, but don't understand how to voice those issues or share them with anybody, or even go about getting a therapist. Like, what was the writing process for that?
You know, I wrote that song sitting in like the dining section of the Crown, waiting for a show to happen. Okay. Which is like not my favorite story to tell, but
but the Crown is like the Mecca for real. We don't let that ride.
But like I would just kind of just like sitting there and just like really like thinking, because this was like a week after Swayze TV Live, my live performance thing. Like after that happened, I was just sitting and resonating with all the emotion that I've had since then. Because like to get to that point, I had to start working 2 jobs. I had to start sleeping a lot less, like legit getting 3-4 hours a day of rest, like no bullshit. And on top of that, like really having time for a personal life. So all of that started like weighing down on me as I worked. So from there, I kind of just started emoting on a song. Whereas I just like, I've really got to get this shit out here. So I just started making like writing after that and just writing my emotion. Now, from the whole song composition standpoint, I kind of did it tongue in cheek because nobody was going to hear this shit unless I rapped it in that melodic way. I mean, most of the music that you would hear from me does not sound like that shit at all. It's very straight, like bar, 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 nice little flow. You didn't know about this, did you? Ha, boom, hook in the song. There's like now straight melody, there's tone, there's auto-tune, there's a bunch of like song components being thrown in instead of just being rapper Swayze again. So I felt as though this is kind of like me being a smartass while still being serious.
Okay. All right. So besides the crown, do you have like another weirdish place you've written a song?
I write everywhere. I legit write everywhere. My favorite place to write, weirdly enough, is on public transportation. Very 8 Mile-ish. It's very green. It's very like it's just you're supposed to be right here, feeling these feelings of not being where you need to be at this point, and just getting that shit out there. And that's actually my favorite place to write because like I thrive in darkness. As brooding and negative that sounds, like chaos is my wifey. Like we go together like fucking peanut butter and jelly. And once I sit in there and just write in that space, it just everything just comes out. The good music, the good beats, the good concepts, and just slapping shit together. Like that's where I love to write. If anything, is chaos in the middle of chaos.
Okay. How would you say your rapper self allows you to be somewhat your true self?
Great question. Because we're actually at year 7 of kind of like that difference between the old score, which is Akmar Shabazz, and the new score, which is Score Swayze. And the difference is not giving a shit. Because back then, I was really hung up on just like not really caring enough, but trying to work enough to the point where as though people would care enough to pretty much give you money for the work that you do. Mm-hmm. And this is actually a great time to talk about this. And pretty much like 7 years ahead, it was more so like I'm in that space where as though the people in public opinion matters, but at the same time, what matters to you. So I'm pretty sure you've seen everybody doing their Spotify wrap up stuff and like pretty much putting their numbers together and all that stuff. This is actually the year I've had less streams, like the least kind of shit. And oddly enough, this is the happiest I've ever been with my career. Okay. So like I'm at that crux where as though like, you know, I finally stopped giving a shit, but to what cost? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the cost is almost priceless to me. Like I've gotten my self-worth back. I've gotten my self-identity back. I know exactly how I want to market myself. And the thing is, how I market myself is totally up to me. I don't have a manager. Like I don't have like this huge team and all that shit. Like that whole fucking show thing isn't just some cute little thing to like slap on an album. Yeah. That's me. Yeah. I'm the whole fucking show. So for me to be at this point where as though I control everything that I want to control within my career and life, I couldn't be happier.
Okay. What song would you say is your greatest song from 7 years ago and your greatest song from now?
All right. 7 years ago, I made a song called Vader Bomb with a person named Tom Castles right now, but back in the day they were named Chelsea Football Club, who is still one of my favorite artists ever, like writing phenomenon. And back then it was more so just me kind of like finally getting that confidence that I've been waiting to get as an artist. Okay. And now 7 years later, my most favorite song that I've done ever in my fucking career I made on a project nobody likes. And it's one of those things that made me realize, like, wow, you're really in it for just you. Mm-hmm. And that song is City of God, which I produced on the whole fucking show, TWFNS. And it was produced by me, written by me. The whole concept was just me. And it's one of the songs that just sounds as pure Score Swayze as it gets. There's no hook, just me straight spitting bars, a nice little 2024. That's about it. And just like just steezing and just shitting and just being as like braggadocious as possible. Okay. And I feel like that's as pure as me as you're gonna get.
Okay. If somebody was to ask you what kind of rapper you are, what would you say?
The rapper no one's supposed to like.
You know, I love how you like embrace like all the scary shit that no artist want to embrace. So that's
cool. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
I'm like, it's one of those things that like this year, like 2020 is such a joke in the best way possible, because like we really got 2020 vision like in 1 year to have a look at all of ourselves and what the fuck we're supposed to be doing in this like existence that we call life. And like I've been making music technically since like September 11th, like 2001, like right then and there. And up in 19 years, like bringing on up, like realizing how many years you've been like loving music, creating music, worshiping music, and going into different genres and things like that. I'm not supposed to be like, I'm not that marketable, but I market myself the way I want to be marketed. And the people that love it, I cherish them. I really do. I'm not Captain Shiny. I don't have a lot of chains. My hair color is my hair color. I don't have, like, I'm legit counterculture. And it's not even braggadocious or anything like that. It's just that I am me, and I appreciate me, and I wouldn't change that for shit. Yeah. And this is the year I've truly, like, embraced that.
Yeah, I definitely think we need, like, those artists that resemble, like, being true to themselves. Because a lot of artists, they say they are, and, you know, we can get that through their music, but, you know, sometimes they make those changes that we as like the fans and like the listeners are like, damn, why they make that change? And then we got to look at it as like, oh, they did it because they're marketing themselves different, you know, they trying to reach a different audience. But it's also those artists that we wish like stayed true to themselves, even if like their market sales drop or something like that. But we just want them to be like, yo, we loved your music this way, and the fact that if you kept it this way, like we was still gonna rock with you no matter what. So I think that's why I appreciate the most about you as an artist, because it's like you show and you speak like true to self, and it's like it's nobody that can like contest that. Nobody can like ever go back and be like, yo, but like he elevated as true to himself, not like he elevated and switched he elevated as true to himself. So I think that's like the I grab the attention type thing for me about you as an artist. But
thank you, Orange Pop.
Well, I don't want to keep you here too long, and I have a wrap up question for you.
Okay.
Where do you see Score as an artist and Score as the visual brand within the next year?
Should I spoil that right now?
Oh wait, no spoilers, no spoilers. I won't be surprised. Too. So no spoilers.
Okay, so next year, well, legit the first day of the year, 2021, I will be releasing a project with my friend, my comrade, my roommate, and my adversary, Benjamin Banger, titled Telepathy Club, who was on this show, by the way. About 10 tracks, all produced by him, all raps by me. I spoke on TWFNS early on this interview. This is the complete opposite. I'm legit just the background guy. All I'm really doing is throwing out hooks sometimes and bars. Okay. Everybody else is going to be doing their own shit. Like, I have co-production from Talk to Nobody, co-production from Decentive. I have features from Finagle Baby. I have features from Beth Banger, L. Cook, Title. Like, it's a lot of, like, supporting cast who's actually the main cast for this project. I'm just the guy that just throws it out there. And I'm really excited for it. 2021, I plan on making that the year where as though I realize my potential as a producer, not just a rapper. And not in the sense of producing as in beats, but producing as in everything else, such as shows, music, graphics, content, whatever the case may be. So 2021, you're going to hear me rap a lot less, which would make a lot of people a lot more happier, but you're not going to see the end of me.
Okay. All right, boss. Well, thank you for being a guest today. I'm going to hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. Don't thank me. Thank you. I wish I had my applause button, but I don't feel like opening FL right now. So that's a lot.